right, so everybody should see my screen now. All right, Errol, do you wanna start recording? All right. Okay, so we started the recording. Hello, everybody. Welcome to today's webinar where we're focused on how to use Autochartist MT4 plugin. So I'm going to be talking less about the actual trading part of it and how to base your trading decisions, but I'm actually more focused on the mechanics and how to get the Autochartist plugin installed and running on your computer. So we'll just dive right in. It's a very practical session. There's not much theory. It's mostly about where to point and click and how to get the thing running. The first thing you've got to do is obviously log into the Autochartist application. You can either do that through the website, go to www.autochartist.com, click on the login button, and that'll give you a list of brokers that we support, our broker partners, and you can click on those icons to log in through those broker partners. And a lot of them will actually allow you to download the MT4 plugin directly, which will actually, what that'll result in will actually give you a whole set of custom indicators inside your MT4 platform, which I've circled for you now on the screen. So that's obviously the main topic of the conversation today. If you're just if you're just in the web application of Autochartist, you can actually click on the Autochartist application. Let me just move my little window across. So you click on Resources and Education. You will be able to actually download the MT4 and MT5 plugins on the Resources and Education section of Autochartist. Right. So once you click those, you can download it and then go through the installation process. And again, as I said, that'll bring up some custom indicators on the screen within MetaTrader. And now, I think before I carry on with MetaTrader itself, I'm just going to quickly step in with one or two other little points that you should know. Is that MetaTrader is not the only platform into which we've actually integrated. We've got numerous other integrations. One of them is the new and upcoming tradable application, which I brought into my screen now, and I'll wait for that to come up on yours. So you can see Tradable is completely integrated. Autochartist is completely integrated into Tradable. You can see the Autochartist trading opportunity section here. To get that in Tradable, you just click on the little star on the top, and you can actually just get drag and drop the Autochartist trading opportunities application onto your trading screen within Tradable. Yeah, that's the one integration that we have. Of course, another integration that we have is with ActForex. So if you guys have a broker that provides the ActForex platform, let me just close Tradable. If you have the ActForex platform, then we're fully integrated into there. All you got to do is you got to just click on the trading opportunities button, the Autochartist trading opportunities button on the top of the toolbar, and you get the screen that you see over here, which is obviously a list of opportunities that Autochartist has identified, and you can double click on any line item, and that will actually draw the chart for you. Let me just zoom out of this so you can actually see there's a wedge that we identified, and that's fully integrated into the ActForex platform as well. So MT4 is not the only platform we're integrated in, but it is the topic of conversation today. So I've just kind of glanced over those, and I think what we'll do is we'll schedule some webinars that deal with some of the other platforms into which we have integrated. In the meantime, let me close my ActForex platform and move onto MetaTrader. All right. So so once you've installed the Autochartist plugin into your MetaTrader, what you can do is you can actually, I guess, start using it, right? The way that I like to use it is obviously to have my MetaTrader running side by side with my Autochartist, and basically look at the opportunities I like within Autochartist and then map them onto my MetaTrader. So for example, there's a whole bunch of trading opportunities that we see over here on Autochartist. Here's an interesting one: New Zealand dollar, Japanese yen. On 15 minutes has a head and shoulder pattern, which is quite interesting. And so what I can do is I can actually go into my MetaTrader. Let's just see if we can see in New Zealand dollar, Japanese yen. There it is. I can right-click, open a new chart window, and of course this opportunity is on 15 minutes. Okay, so what I'll do is I'll just change that graph to a 15-minute graph, and let's have a look see how to get Autochartist working on MetaTrader itself. So what we can do, this is a head and shoulders, so it's a chart pattern. All right. What I do is I'm going to drag and drop my Autochartist chart patterns indicator onto this graph, and now I get a whole array of entries that I need to put in. The first thing I've got to do is I've got to make sure that we allow DLL imports. All right. Every time you drag and drop the indicator, you'll have to do this, unfortunately, but there is a shortcut which I'll show you in just a moment. The next thing that you'll have to do is you'll have to actually set your time zone offset. Okay. Now we'll work that out once, and I'll show you how to do that right now. Before I plug it in, I'll show you how to do that right now. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to just zoom into my graph a little bit, and I'm going to hover over my last candle that I've got on my graph. The last candle of my graph shows me that I have that this is that the time on this graph is it's now 1:30, right? 1:30, which means that this graph is on GMT. Okay, so very easy now. What I do is I drag and drop Autochartist chart patterns. I set my allowed DLL imports. I set my time zone offset to 0, because if we're a GMT, that means that the GMT offset is 0. And I click OK. And if all goes according to plan, I should get my Autochartist graph showing over there. Now, what I want to show all of you is actually how to make a graph. What we can do is we can drag and drop this Autochartist information box. If you double click on the little icon on the left and then move the little icon on the left, the information block will move with you. Okay? Actually, it moves on every tick that comes into the market. That's actually the trick. Also, what I like to do is I like to actually remove my grid, so I can actually see more clearly what's going on. And I like to shift my graph to the right. And there, as you can see very clearly, is the same head and shoulders pattern that you can see with the resistance shown in green and the support shown in blue. It's the same resistance pattern that we see on the Autochartist platform. We actually see it here on the MetaTrader graph. What we can also do is we can just shrink it. I don't know if you all know how to do this. Sometimes this becomes a lesson on how to use MetaTrader. So if you actually put your mouse button over the scale on the right-hand side of the MetaTrader graph, and you click your button, hold it down, and scroll it up and down, you actually change the what your graph looks like. And you can see that Autochartist has provided a forecast, a target price, which is actually clearly visible on the Autochartist platform as well. We can see the target price over there. Okay. Now, some of you may be asking, and may have noticed, why I only have these opportunities checked. All right, so but this is a personal preference again, I only look at completed chart patterns. That means chart patterns that have broken through their support resistance levels, completed key levels, and approaching key levels. The reason I look at those only is because those are the ones on which I have, but Autochartist has performance statistics. So if you click on the performance statistics section in Autochartist, you will see that we have performance stats for completed chart patterns, completed key levels, and approaching key levels. Okay, those are the only 3 types of analysis on which we offer performance statistics. And I'm an analytical kind of guy, so I like to only look at the events that I think, that really have a past performance history. Okay, so that was just one example of how to show what you see in Autochartist on your MetaTrader platform. Now, of course, we could do other things. For example, let's just say we have this opportunity on GBP USD. which seems to be a resistance line. Okay, let's bring up GBP USD 30 minutes. Let's try and find that graph on my screen. GBP USD, here it is. New chart window. I'll make it a 30-minute chart. Okay, let me actually arrange my windows. So I'm looking at the bottommost one. I remove my grid. I'd like to zoom in a little bit, make them candles, shift it to the right, and now this is a resistance level, so I can take my Autochartist key levels pattern, I drop it onto there, allow DLL imports. Of course, I'll set my time zone to 0, as I mentioned before. And if all goes according to plan again, we should actually get that resistance level drawn in on the market. Why we're not getting it drawn in on the market, I have no idea. GBP USD, and you know, as always in presentations, something always doesn't work, right? One is so confident before one starts the presentation. Okay, I'm not quite sure why that is actually not working. Maybe it's already broken through the resistance level. Okay, I'll try to find another example in just a moment. So, so now that seems a bit laborious, right, with regards to adding and dropping these indicators and setting time zone offsets and DLL imports and all this kind of stuff. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you a quick way of actually getting all this kind of thing automated. So now watch carefully, everyone. Take out your pens and papers and watch. First thing I do is I go to Tools, Options. I go into my Expert Advisor section, right? And I basically click on Allow DLL Imports and unclick Confirm DLL Function Calls. Okay, so those are the two you need to focus on there. Once I click OK, I will never have to allow or disallow my DLL imports again. Let's take that for example. I take Autochartist key levels, I drop it on, and I'll see here that DLL imports is already enabled. Okay. Now, let me change my time zone offset over here to a 0, as I did before for key levels. And now Autochartist is doing what it needs to do, fetching some key levels information. Now, let me zoom out a little bit, and we can see actually Autochartist identified a resistance level over here. But anyway, that's not the point of what I want to say right now. What I want to do now is I don't want to apply this indicator again and again and again every time I look at a graph. So what I'll do is I actually click on this little button over here. I hope everyone can see that. And it's called templates. It's a very useful feature within MetaTrader. Okay, I click on Save Templates, and I will call my template Autochartist. Okay, so now I should have a template called Autochartist. Now, what is an Autochartist template? A template is really just a layout of a screen, all right, of a chart. So now I can open up any chart that I want. Let's take Euro USD. Right? You can see it always looks like by default, but then all I do is I click on the little template button, I click on Autochartist, and voila, Autochartist, the Autochartist layout gets automatically applied to you. Now this is quite useful because if any of you have listened to my other presentations I've done previously, you will know that I enjoy using certain other indicators on my graphs along with the Autochartist, with the chart patterns and key levels. So I like to add moving average indicator. I use 34. Not sure why, but I use 34. And I also like to add in, well, actually, I do know why. I lie, but that's beyond the scope of this of this presentation. In fact, it's got to do with some research we did a while back that showed that adding a 34 bar moving average actually added significantly to the probability of hitting your target region. But anyway, that's a topic for another conversation. And then I add relative strength indicator, and again, I like to add 34 in there. Okay, and as you can see now, I have my graph set up the way I like it. And what I'm going to do again is I'm going to save my template. I'm going to save it as Autochartist, and I ask to replace it, and I'll replace it. And And now what I can do is I can go ahead and look at any graph that I want and apply that indicator. So I look at GBP USD. I would go to templates. I click on Autochartist, and I get my graph the way I want it. All right. So so let's go back into Autochartist quickly. Now, if you have been following the progression, how the software has been developing over the last little while, you'll know that we had this trading opportunity section, which you see on your screen at the moment, and we also had the performance statistics. Now, recently what we've done is we've actually added in a section called Our Favorites, which in essence combines the trading opportunities together with the performance stats. Now, you may not see this section on your Autochartist platform as yet. It was only released to our direct subscriber base. However, it will be going out to most of our broker clients very soon. So the team is working now on deploying it to all our major broker clients. Some brokers obviously will have access to it. Some brokers won't have access to it, depending on the level of service they get from Autochartist. But just keep your eye on the space, because this is basically the latest innovation at the company. So really what we do is you can select the instruments you wanna find opportunities on. You select the minimum probability of opportunities that you want displayed to you. And Autochartist will show you the so-called the best opportunities in the market at the moment. Okay, so I like to choose a 70% or greater probability, and so Autochartist will bring up all the opportunities in the market, which are, according to Autochartist's last 6 months of performance, have a 70% or more probability of hitting the forecast region. Okay, so while we wait for that page to load, and of course, because I'm on a demonstration, I expect nothing to actually work. No, it's actually probably slow because I've got so much stuff running on my computer right now. Let's actually look at one or two examples that have come up already. Here we go. Some examples here. US dollar, Japanese yen, 4-hour opportunity, or US dollar, Japanese yen, 60-minute opportunity. So let's open up US dollar, Japanese yen. Let's find that here. US dollar, Japanese yen. New chart window. I'll apply my Autochartist template to it. And there it comes. All right, I'm going to zoom out a little bit. Okay. So that's quite interesting. Autochartist has been doing pretty well over the last little while. We've identified a lot of breakouts, and really things have gone really, really well for us. So, so if, for example, we're looking at US dollar, Japanese yen, we can see that Autochartist thinks, and again, we seem to be having a bit of an issue with the with our key levels. I'm sure the technical team is on it. I'll draw one in manually right now. Autochartist has identified a key level at that price over there, a resistance level around that price over here, 99.48. Let's see where that is, 99.48, somewhere around here. Okay. So now the question is, well, should we take this position? Okay, let's go ahead and take this position actually. Let's just go long on this position, according to what Autochartist says. Oh, off quotes. There we go. All right, I'm into the market now. All right. So now to open this position. Now, obviously, the next question is, where should I be setting my stop loss or take profit? Right now, Autochartist helps you with that as well. So if you see on the left-hand side here, there's a little indicator called the Autochartist key levels. Not key level, sorry, a volatility indicator. So what this will do is when you drag and drop it onto the chart, it'll actually give us an idea of where Autochartist thinks the price is going to be for the next hour, 4 hours, and 24 hours. Okay. So now you can see on my screen, Autochartist has drawn a whole bunch of little lines over here, which I'm going to zoom into just a little bit. So Autochartist has given me really a range forecast, right? Not a price forecast, just a range forecast of where we think the price is going to be based on the volatility for this time of day, for this day of the week, over the last 6 months. Okay. So it looks as if the forecast of 99.44 that we 99.48 that we have for this for this instrument, USD JPY, looks like it's only going to be hit more than 24 hours from now, right? Which is quite interesting. So this is actually, although it's based on the 60-minute graph, this is actually a long-term, in the Forex world, a long-term play, all right? So we could, for example, say, you know what, despite what Autochartist says, I actually want to set my take profit to be at the 4-hour range. My stop loss and take profit to be at the 4-hour range. So what I can do is just draw some lines in there, and set my levels. So now, for example, I would right-click my order, modify my order, and I would set my stop loss at 97. Let's just see here, 97,145, and my take profit to be 98,366. Okay, and so I've set my stop loss and take profit levels, and when I remove those lines that I drew there before, you can see that, oh, sorry, I'm having trouble removing that line. I can see that I've actually set those stop loss and take profit levels on here, and so now we obviously, I guess, sit and wait and see what happens. All right, so what have we gone over today? We'll quickly go over that. We have basically downloaded the Autochartist indicator, the MetaTrader plugin. We've installed it, and we've got these indicators on here. We've drag and dropped some indicators onto the chart, set the time zone offset based on your time zone of your MetaTrader. I've shown you how to go into tools, options, setting your allow DLL imports, and setting a template, of course. So now you are ready and armed to use MetaTrader. And of course, watch this video again if you need more information. So we've got 5 or 6 more minutes to go before the end of the presentation. And I know I went really quickly, but I hope everyone kept up. And Errol, are there any questions that I should be answering?
Hi, Len. There's actually, I think I answered all of them, so there isn't really any. Maybe Richard Yep has a question.
That's a good question that I should talk about. Yeah, go ahead.
Richard Yep asked, could you explain on the time frame example 15 minutes, does it mean the pattern will occur in 15-minute time?
No, it's a good question actually. All right, so the great question. So no, if you looking at these opportunities that you have in the Autochartist platform, this means that the interval on which this opportunity was identified, the data interval was 30-minute candles. So, for example, let's find that USD JPY example that we were looking at before, if I can find it here somewhere. Here's a USD JPY example that says 240. This means that this opportunity was identified on 4-hourly candles. So these candles here are 4-hourly. It doesn't mean that the opportunity will happen in 4 hours. It's just the data interval, so it allows you to actually map the opportunity onto MetaTrader or any other platform. So if we want to find this here on MetaTrader, I've got USD JPY open here. I'll click on 4 hours, and if all goes according to plan, I should get the same graph drawn for me. There it is. Can you see those 2 lines drawn for me over there? That's the same channel that was drawn on MetaTrader, on Autochartist is drawn for me on the MetaTrader plugin. So that's what that means.
Okay, and Dale...
Errol, are there any other questions that you had answered already that I should go over that might be useful to everybody else?
The only questions were based upon how to actually get Autochartist. I think I answered that.
Oh, okay, so I just want to show everybody, you go to www.autochartist.com and you click on login. And then you will get a list of brokers that are broker partners. If you click on any of those, you will actually be able to get the login information for those brokers. So that's visually how to do that.
Okay, then Jeremy asked.
Okay, then I guess my presentation was fast, but okay, yeah, sorry, go ahead.
Sorry, maybe one more question. Does the grey box mean where Autochartist thinks the price is heading?
Yes, that's correct. As you can see, Jeremy, let me just quickly show you this on Autochartist platform. The Autochartist platform gives you a forecast region. And so similarly, that forecast region is actually mapped onto MetaTrader as well. So yes, that's where Autochartist believes the price is heading, correct. Okay. Well, I guess my presentation must have been really clear. I thought it was really fast, but it must have been really clear if everyone's got no questions. So,
Hi, Ilan.
so we'll call it a day. And thank you everybody for, yes, sorry, Errol.
Sorry, a lot of questions are
Is
actually
there
coming
coming
through
in?
now.
Oh, okay.
So maybe we can answer one or two.
Yes,
Just
please. Yes, please.
Richard asks the grey triangle. What is the meaning?
The gray triangle. Oh, I
I think
presume
yeah.
we're talking about these little gray triangles um, over here.
I think he means the past patterns on the MT4.
Oh, like these ones over here.
Yes, yes.
Okay, right. Okay. Those over there, those gray triangles and lines are actually historical patterns that were identified. So what you'll see when you bring up the Autochartist indicator, the latest chart patterns are all drawn in green and blue. So let's just zoom in a little bit. You'll see that the latest patterns are drawn in green and blue, and the older ones are drawn in gray. So it's just so that a person doesn't get too many lines or too many bold lines on their MetaTrader. I hope that answers the question.
Okay, Ilan, and Dale Johnson asks
So,
about syncing the time.
syncing the time. Okay. All right, let's do that again. Let's sync the time again. Let's do that because that is a tricky process. So let me just give you all some background. The reality is that Autochartist is a general trading tool, right? And we provide our services to a lot of brokers, and different brokers offer their trading platforms at different times, right? So some brokers run off GMT, some brokers run off Eastern time in New York, some brokers run off Central European time. It all really depends on your broker, and so it's very difficult for us at Autochartist to know what that time zone is, especially if you subscribe directly through us and not through a specific broker. So what we do is we give you the ability to set the time zone of your Autochartist indicators. So the best way to do this is to actually put your mouse over the last candle in your MetaTrader and see the time. Hope you can all see the little pop-up that I have on my screen. It says time 2013, June the 20th at 12 p.m. Now, this is a 4-hourly candle. Sorry, so let me actually choose a better example. Let's just move on to US dollar, Japanese yen, 1 hour. Sorry, give me a moment, everybody. I don't want to look at a 4-hour graph. There we go. Okay, so now I've gone into a 1-hour graph, and it says 1 p.m. Okay, this is a 1 p.m. candle, which means to me that this is GMT because it's now 1 p.m. Greenwich Mean Time. All right. So this MetaTrader that I'm running here right now is based on a GMT time zone. All right. So that means that I need to set my Autochartist time zone offset to be the offset from GMT, which is 0, because my MetaTrader is now at GMT. So therefore, my offset from GMT is 0. So I will just set my time zone offset to be 0. So it's really simple. If you don't know what your time zone offset of your MetaTrader, you can either look at it on the graph the way I did, right, by just hovering over the last candle to see what the time is, or there we go, 2 p.m. GMT, or you can just ask your broker what time zone offset is my MetaTrader from GMT. They may tell you it's Central European time, which is GMT +1, in which case then what you would do is you would set your Autochartist to be a time zone of 1. But my MetaTrader is GMT, so I will set mine to 0. I hope that answers the question. Errol, anything else I should be looking at?
No, I think you covered it, Elon.
Okay. So everybody, let's wrap it up for let's wrap it up for today. This recording will be online again, I guess, in the next day or two, right, Errol?
Yes, it should be on YouTube.
We'll email everybody when it's available. Oh,
yes,
YouTube.
yes.
Great.
It will be on YouTube, and we'll email people about it next week.
Good. YouTube. Another post on YouTube. That's great. So I'm happy to hear that I'm going to be famous on YouTube. Thank you, Errol, for that. And I guess we're going to have our next webinar in another couple of weeks. And I look forward to seeing you all then. Thanks, everyone. Bye.